I'm cranky. I just woke up early as hell so I could sit through 2 goddamn hours of CBS mornings to wait for a Survivor 50 cast reveal that I already knew the names about. What is wrong with me? I mean, come on. Oh, CBS mornings is such a joke. Anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I am here to talk about the official Survivor 50 cast and my reaction to it. And this cast is quite a contentious one. I don't think I've seen a single person in the online community happy about this cast, but I'm here to push back just a little bit about it. Because while this is not some standout or amazing cast, it's far from a terrible cast, and people really don't know how bad we had it back in Game Changers. I'm genuinely disappointed that people are saying this cast is at or even worse than Game Changers level. It's not even close. This cast is so much better than that. We didn't have a Caleb on this season. The lowest placing person we have on this cast that we currently know of is 8th place, and we're trying to complain about that? If I'm being real, the issue I do have is through all the names that were rumored that didn't make the cast. Because yes, it's disappointing to see the likes of Sean Rector, Jerry Manthe, Rob Cesternino, Mariano Ketch, Malcolm Penner, Amanda Kimmel, all of them rumored, and then one way or another, they all missed the cut. Imagine a world where we could have had any of those people on. I would be so much higher on this cast. But also, on the flip side, imagine a much worse world where even more new era players on this cast, and much worse picks at that. I'm just happy to have a returning player season in general, and I can make an argument to be intrigued to excited about almost everybody on this cast, and that's really exciting to me. I'm here to talk through each person one-on-one and just give a general reaction to seeing them on 50. I don't want to go too in-depth because I have a whole year to make more videos later where I give actual power rankings on who I think is most likely to win and just a lot more videos on this topic. But before I get into all that, I do have a couple of things I wanted to talk about before getting into the specific players. First off, this cast is 24 people, which is kind of insane. Considering it's going to be a 26-day season, having that many people you need to take out, and obviously not having a billion episodes, means multiple people will be going home in the same episode on many different occasions. The theory I back the most is that we will have 3 tribes of 8 to start, and during the pre-merge, only 1 tribe will win immunity each round, meaning 2 people go home each episode for the entirety of the pre-merge. That means after the normal 5 episodes that they have done for the pre-merge, 10 people will have gone, and that leaves us 14 people at the merge, which is still a lot of people, but considering how big this cast is, it kind of makes sense to me. Or worst case scenario, they do 6 pre-merge episodes, and that means we have a merge at 12. That makes sense in my mind, but we'll see how wacky and wild the season gets with that many people on it. I promise you though, our faves are in trouble. And the last note, we'll be talking about the future of Survivor returning player seasons. I really do hope what production and Jeff take away from this is that we need more returning player seasons. At least more than 1 every 10 seasons, because that was such bullshit. So I really do hope that season 52 or 54 is a returning player season, so that we can bring back those who didn't make the cut this time, and the fan base can be a lot happier to see these people who definitely deserve a return make a return. Otherwise, I'm gonna just be begging for the traders to steal all these people, because Survivor clearly doesn't appreciate some of the gems that they've casted. And if we have to wait until Survivor 60 for another returning player season, that cast is going to be terrible, and I will not be a happy camper. So, manifesting all good things, we get returning player seasons in the future, Survivor is saved in the 50s, blah 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 blah, whatever. Let's dive in to my reaction for the season 50 cast. First name on the cast, we do have a Borneo rep on the season, and it's kind of a shocking one. It's Jenna Lewis. If you haven't paid attention to the last week and a half of the rumors and leaked casts coming out, Jenna Lewis would be a big surprise for a lot of people. She was on nobody's radar the entire time, and if they were going to dip into Borneo, of the realistic options, Jenna was probably the person I was least confident in becoming the Borneo rep. I really did think that they were going to try to get Greg to be the pick because they've been wanting Greg for so long, and if they couldn't get Greg, Jervis would be the next best option. But no, they went to Jenna. And that does not mean I'm mad about this pick. It's actually quite the opposite. Jenna is going to break the record for the longest time playing between seasons of Survivor with a whole 22-year gap. That's really intriguing and really exciting. And of all the old school women that could be returning to the season, I think Jenna can fit right into the new school game and not get left behind like I think most would. Somebody like Elizabeth Hasselbeck was heavily rumored to be on the season up until just earlier last week. And while the name of Elizabeth is super intriguing to see again because we haven't seen her since season 2 and she was like America's sweetheart, I promise you, Elizabeth would have been boring television and would have brought nothing game-wise. She is the definition of stunt casting. If Jenna is the supposed Elizabeth replacement, I think Survivor did a great job because she wants this. She has been waiting for her chance to return for the longest time, and I know she's not going to let that squander or be in it for just the money. Will a return actually go well for Jenna? I have no idea, but I do know she's going to give it her all and she will not fade into the background. And for an old school pick, somebody that could easily just fade into the background like a Kelly Wigglesworth or something, I think that's all you can ask for. This is a really good start and a fun surprise to start this 50 cast. Our first male to talk about on this cast is a hilarious name. I had no hope in ever seeing back on Survivor, but god damn it, we somehow have Colby Donaldson on Survivor 50. I know people are going to be mad at this choice considering how his run on Heroes vs. Villains went, where he just wasn't into it. First of all though, I thought Colby was hilarious on Heroes vs. Villains, and I do think Colby is going to be hilarious to play on Survivor 50. I have no expectations from Colby in the modern day, and that's the biggest compliment I can give him. Anything he brings is going to be good enough for me, considering where my expectations start. I'm hoping to see a cranky Colby that's just complaining the entire time while he just has no idea who any of these new people are and no idea what is happening in the game. The key difference though is I think Colby is going to be more invested this time than he was in Heroes vs. Villains. In Heroes vs. Villains, he didn't want to be there from the beginning, but considering he somehow said yes to Survivor 50 here in the modern day, he obviously wants this a lot more than he did back then. Otherwise, he would have just said no. So I expect Colby to actually be somewhat invested in the season, and that's exciting. I get giddy just thinking about this goof playing Survivor again. I really do think Colby is going to leave everybody with a positive experience about him after season 50 of Survivor, and that is whether he is the first out or he just finds his way towards the end of the game. People are sleeping on this cowboy. Plus, he's also a massive name in Survivor history that does not suck as a human being, unlike some other people that could have been casted. So I'm very content with the Colby pick. He's not a top pick of mine, but of the options we could have had, I'm fine with this. We got another big name from the old scores, and that's Stephanie Lrosa. If I'm being honest, I didn't need Stephanie on season 50. I understand how big of a name she is for that time period of the show, and if you're going to celebrate 50 seasons of the show, Stephanie does make sense to be on the cast, but I just don't know or care for what we're going to get from Stephanie. We already saw her recently on Snake in the Grass and The Traitors, and she kind of disappointed on both and was not super relevant there. And I kind of feel like that's what she's gonna be on 50. She'll probably make it far, and she might have 1 or 2 moments that are intriguing or interesting. I don't think she's going to win, and I don't think she'll be great television 90% of the time. The positive I can take from this is that she wants to be here, and she's been expressing wanting to come back to Survivor specifically for a long time, and maybe if she's back in her element, she'll bring a lot more to the show. As long as we have a cast that wants to play Survivor, I'm seated for that. I just think when looking at the cast as a whole, I see Stephanie's name and I just kind of shrug when I feel like I shouldn't. I want her to prove me wrong so bad because the potential is definitely there for Stephanie to be great. I just don't see her run playing out in a super memorable way. Next up is a pretty massive lock to be on this cast. It's Siri Fields. Come on, what's a milestone season of Survivor without Siri? It just doesn't exist. And I'm not complaining about this one bit. People will and have talked about the oversaturation of Siri on reality TV in the modern day. But like, after this and then Australia versus the World, when are we going to see Siri again? This kind of feels like the last ride ever. And I'm going to appreciate it because Siri is one of the best to ever do it. And she will not disappoint. Is she one of the people I am most actively excited for? No, definitely not. That's not the point though. The point is that Siri is going to be a positive on this season. An absolute guarantee to be good. Why are we complaining about a guarantee to be good television? I can't say that for most or any of the people here. Nobody here is a guarantee to be good on the season except for Siri. It is pretty funny though to see Siri as like an absolute certified legend on this cast, and then you see everybody else, but whatever. I'm going to take what I can get. There isn't much else to say that already hasn't been said. It makes sense, and I'm excited to see Siri play for the 10th time on reality TV. Up next is Ozzy, and why? What does production or CBS love so much about this guy? How have we not learned from our mistakes that we made in Game Changers when he was an absolute zero on a season that desperately needed something? So why is he back? Is he here just to disappoint us again? I know why he's back. He's a super popular player that will single-handedly bring people to watch the season because his name is on it. So I understand from that aspect. But realistically, I think everybody in production knows what Ozzy is going to bring, and that is nothing for the 5th time on this show. I can't believe Ozzy is a 5-time player on this show. It sucks so bad. I would love for him to be back to his Cook Island self, or just be a new Ozzy entirely and be entertaining, because I don't have a problem with Ozzy himself. He's just boring and a shell of what made him popular and exciting in the first place. And if that's the case, there's no reason he should have been on the season. I've been lukewarm to happy about some of the people we've talked about so far. This is the person I might be most excited to see on Survivor 50, and he definitely scared us there for a while, but it was always going to be Coach. He is one of the biggest characters in Survivor history, coming back again, and unlike some other people that could have come back on this season and been a much duller version of themselves, I think Coach is going to be Coach, and he will deliver. I was recently rewatching Tocantins for a video I was doing specifically to watch all of the Coach moments, and he's actually incredible. It's quite literally the only thing I love about Tocantins, and he manages to keep me hooked consistently. And if we can just get a fraction of that on modern day Survivor, I know it's going to be good television, and we are going to remember how much of a lunatic this guy is. And how quick are we to forget Coach almost won Survivor South Pacific if it wasn't for his ego and pride getting in the way. I don't think Coach is winning this season by any means, but damn it, I will be rooting for Coach to make it deep, because the more time we have Coach on this season, the more invested he will become in this season, and the better character he will be as we go along. Plus, he's already been trolling the hell out of the entire Survivor community during this process, so I know Coach is still in there, and I'm thrilled he will be back on the islands of Fiji. If I look back at my Dreamcast, had I known Coach was in the running all along, he would have made it. He's one of my favorites ever. And I'm just so happy that he's going to be on Survivor 50, and he kinda is the reason that I'm not super down on this cast as a whole. Apparently Survivor said fuck the 20s and skipped the entirety of it. Somehow they couldn't bother to cast like Malcolm or something. Come on, what are we doing, Survivor? Whatever. Kicking off the 30s, it's a real shocker here, and probably a last-minute addition in Aubrey Bracco. And maybe I'm weird for thinking this, but Aubrey sticks out massively on this cast for me, and I really don't like the pick. This is nothing against Aubrey specifically, because I think she's fun and definitely loves Survivor, as we've seen from her other attempts, but I just have no care or desire to see Aubrey play again for a 4th time. This is very Sierra Easton coded to me. Sierra is somebody that I think we've all seen what we're going to see. Every subsequent return that she had got worse and less memorable, to where the idea of Sierra that was interesting in the first place died in my head. The same exact thing happened with Aubrey, where her co-wrong experience was so great and definitely deserved a return, but that does not mean she should have returned 3 times now, with her previous 2 returns being kind of disappointing and super unmemorable. If you were looking for a woman in the 30s of Survivor to come back, there were much better options to choose from outside of Aubrey. Hell, I mean literally from Survivor Co-Wrong. Sydney's just sitting there, ready for a return. And I know, I do think Aubrey was a last-second addition due to Amanda Kimmel, unfortunately, dropping out very late in the process. But still, there's so many other people I would have taken over Aubrey. She's still very likable and does have a great mind for the game, and I'm intrigued about that. But an Aubrey 4.0 doesn't sound like it's going to be anything worthwhile, especially not on Survivor 50, when I feel like it just doesn't make sense. Up next, it's another somewhat shocking pick if you weren't following the rumors. Unlike Aubrey though, I do not mind this pick, and I do see the potential for having a great run, and that is Chrissy Hoffbeck from HHH. Chrissy was a massive character on HHH and was the entire online community's fallen angel. She was the antagonist to Ben's protagonist story during that season, and anybody who will openly and savagely play against Ben is somebody I will die for. So in no way do I think Chrissy is not deserving of a spot on 50. Based on what she showed on 35, she definitely is somebody worthy of a return. But I just really didn't think production would look her way. Now that she's here though, I think Chrissy can cause some chaos on this season. I fully expect Chrissy to return to her role she took as the villain. In a cast that really doesn't have much of anybody that automatically screams villain on the season, Chrissy does, and I think that is a great thing for this cast. It means she can stand out from a lot of other people and prove why she's a great character and a deserving returnee. I want her to be ruthless again because a cutthroat Chrissy is exactly what Survivor 50 needs. Moving on to the 3 David vs. Goliath reps on the cast. And first of all, I'm thrilled that we are getting anybody from David vs. Goliath, let alone 3 people. So yes, good thing. But I'm especially excited that one of those 3 names is Christian Hubicki. Come on. Christian is an incredible character that casuals and superfans can all root for. He's good in challenges. He's good strategically. He's a quote machine. And he even has a knack for finding idols, which I'm sure the producers love. This guy felt like a slam dunk pick to be on 50 if he wanted it, and he did, and he is here. I adore Christian so much. He, along with the other David vs. Goliath reps, become people I will instantly be rooting for on this season. And what stands out about Christian the most is that he feels like somebody that only needs to and wants to come back one more time. I think the allure of Christian will die if he had come back time and time and time again. But as we speak here, I am craving Christian on a return because we only got that one appearance all those years ago. So getting him again one more time will fill my heart of that empty void, but not to a point that it will overflow, because that's how you destroy people and their reputation and legacy on the show, kind of like Aubrey. So I kind of hope this is Christian's final run, and if it is, I'm very content and very hopeful that we get a deep run for Christian to continue to just be the amazing guy that he is. Now for one of 2 David vs. Goliath runners-up on this season, and that is another person I had on my Dreamcast and another person that will be delivering in Angelina. Survivor Production loved her so much, and if she wanted to return, she was going to. Angelina is somebody else who gave us endless moments of incredible television from start to finish. Who else at the final 6 talks about climbing up a 100-foot high cliff for an idol? Or who else tricks the person on the bottom to finding a clearly fake idol just to get one over on them at the final hour before they go home? And that's not even mentioning Natalie, Can I Have Your Jacket, or the rice negotiations. Angelina was a star, and I'm so curious to see how she is in the modern day. I talked about this on my Dreamcast. The only fear I have with Angelina is that she is one of the few people on this cast that had a lot of active haters at the time of David vs. Goliath airing. I think the casual audience is going to be upset with Angelina being here when they just don't understand good TV. But even with that potential stigma, Angelina knows how much she got hated on, and I expect to see a new version of Angelina on 50. One that I'm going to be excited for no matter where it goes. I really do think Angelina can come in here and surprise some people because she's always been a super competent and even good strategist on the season. It was just always overshadowed by all those character moments she had. But Angelina can easily arrive to 50 and mean business. Or she flames out wonderfully early on. Either way, I'm just saying I can't lose. And that is what makes for a great casting pick on season 50, because no matter what happens, I will be happy that she was here. Wrapping up that David vs. Goliath trio with a very shocking choice. But it's one I'm not mad at all because it's Mike White. I totally get this pick on all angles. First of all, Mike White is a massive name just for being Mike White. The White Lotus is huge. His name was big before he made the White Lotus, and he's just a super well-known guy in Hollywood. So as far as publicity is coming to Survivor and publicity coming to the White Lotus and Mike White, it makes sense. But even from a Survivor sense, this isn't a John Lovett where he was just on one episode and it's like, why is Mike White back just because he's a big name? No, Mike White made it to the final 3 and could have and should have won this game if he just wanted to win this game. He talked a lot about how he didn't feel like he needed to win, and he didn't want to take this $1 million away from someone else who needed it a lot more than he did. So he laid down his sword at Final Tribal, despite being the favorite going in. But afterwards, he does say he wished he fought for it more and would have won that season. And I would love to see that Mike White that still has fight come into this season. Strategically, he kinda completely dominated that endgame stretch. He was the catalyst for all of those major moves and big players that went out throughout the mid and end game. He had a great case to win and easily did have the best case to win that season. And then on top of that, Mike White was a great character too. He's a writer, so it's a shocker, but Mike has incredibly engaging confessionals, and I'm never gonna forget his wine drunk moment of being pissed off that he had to search for the idol clue, and then he found the idol clue and called them all idiots. I just love Mike White unapologetically, and I'm very happy he is on 50. You know what? I'm not gonna complain about being halfway through this 50 cast and only reaching the first person who is on my Doomsday cast. And even though he was on my Doomsday cast, I do like him and I fully expected him on 50, and it's Rick Devans. Come on, people. Devans was always on 50. This guy was going to be the original Season 41 Fire Token Collector and was the first on Fire co-host. This was the lock of the century. And I also think Devans is somebody who's incapable of being boring or going out quietly, whether you like him or not. He's going to fight like hell to stay as long as he possibly can in the game. And that's going to be entertaining, kind of something we desperately needed on some of these new era seasons. Cough cough 48. The casting makes complete sense. I really don't have anything else to say. I'm going to be here for Devans being on 50. At the same time though, I'm also going to be here for him making one big flashy move and then flaming out early in the season. That's kind of all I need to be super satisfied with a Devans return on 50. Pre-New Era part of the cast is done. Now for the New Era side, starting off with everybody's favorite, Jonathan Young. I'm kidding, obviously. We're back-to-back Doomsday picks here. That's not ideal, but whatever. I've just kind of accepted Jonathan is going to be here. And while I don't need it at all, and a lot of the online community doesn't need this, I get it. He's a freakish challenge beast that production and the casuals love to watch. He's easily one of the most popular New Era contestants, period. And this cast, and pretty much every returning player cast in general, is going to try and cater to the casual audience because they are the vast majority. Like I said in the Doomsday video, I don't need it, nor do I want to see it again because I know exactly what I'm going to get, and I don't particularly think Jonathan is like some great human being. But hey, I'll be optimistic this one time because I'm in a good Survivor mood right now. But when we get to next year and Jonathan is at the final 5 after doing nothing all season, I'm gonna be upset again. I'm just warning you now. Skipping over 43 and 44, we got 2 people from 45 on the cast, the first of which was one of the biggest locks to be on the cast if she wanted it, but most of us kind of assumed she didn't want it. Yet, here Emily flippin' is. And this is a wonderful pick. I have 0 issues about it. Some people might be annoyed because they feel like her story ended perfectly and it can only be ruined on a return, and I fully disagree. I thought her journey was cut short considering she was taken out with only 1 vote against her because Austin McDumdum told Dee the Julie blindside plan. So I think Emily has plenty of unwritten pages to go into her Survivor journey. And the best part about all of it is that I have no idea what she is going to bring. Emily can return to 50 the way that she ended Survivor 45, being a sociable and likable player who was a threat in this game to win. Or Emily could return exactly how she started Survivor 45, the out-of-the-loop insane character that was just getting on everybody's nerves for just keeping it real in her mind. And I'm really happy with either versions of that Emily, if I'm being honest. Does this mean she will do well? Hell no. But again, I thought that last time in the Survivor 45 preseason, so who really knows what the prospects of Emily flippin' contain? But I'm just happy that she actually said yes and that she will be on 50 because I love her. Next up, we have our first winner on this cast, and that is Dee. And maybe I feel this way because I generally was kind of accepting the idea of having no winners on 50, but I don't think I'm as excited for a Dee return as I should be. Now, I definitely wanted to see a Dee return at some point. I'd like to see a lot of winners return that have not had the opportunity to play again. But it just feels like it's not the right time, maybe. I don't know. It could be because she's just going to be on the Challenge 41 and then immediately after she's going to be on Survivor 50, which would not shock me if that is playing a factor in my mind, because as much as I like Dee, I don't need her on back-to-back shows when she wasn't that good of a character. But I definitely get why Jeff and production want her on 50. She's a winner, first of all, and a winner that wasn't afraid to make those cutthroat moves and fight for the win. And she's also low-key a challenge beast, and production loves a female challenge beast. And she was a co-host of On Fire, so I know how much production likes her, and it's a perfect match in theory that I wouldn't be mad at for like any other returning player season, but for some reason at this point right now for Survivor 50 doesn't feel right, and it's not something I necessarily needed. I would have taken a couple of other New Era winners over her. I would have taken Rachel and Marianne over her easily, and then don't even get me started on the pre-40 winners. There's plenty of those I would want over Dee. This right here is easily the biggest shock on the entire cast, and the person I'm sure most people are going to be confused about. It's Tiffany Nicole Irvin from Survivor 46. She was my winner pick for 46, I never dissed, but still. Tiffany being a two-time player in itself is not surprising because production really enjoyed her as a narrator, and she had a pretty good rivalry with somebody else who might be on this cast. And just in general, she had a ton of potential to be a great player. But I just have no idea why 50 was the season they chose, considering some of the people that they cut. This spot could have gone to so many other people, both pre-40 and New Era. Put Tiffany on a second chances season or a New Era All-Star season if either of those happen. Season 50, celebrating 25 years of the show, 50 seasons of the show, it's kind of a stretch for me. And it's not a coincidence that she's also the person whose placement is the lowest on the season that we know of. She can definitely deliver. I'm not doubting Tiffany to be entertaining. I'm just doubting Tiffany to stack up name-wise with the rest of the cast and actually being deserving enough to be on 50. Because I just don't think she is. Next is Q. Come on. He's the person I was talking about that had a rivalry with Tiffany on 46. He was the lock of all locks to be on this season. There was nothing that was stopping Q from getting that call and saying yes. You knew this was happening the second 46 ended. What do you want me to say? It's Q. He's an incredible character. One of the greatest in all of Survivor, and that is really hard to do in the modern day, especially on just one season. He's going to bring everything on return, and I really hope he can manage to make it far again so we get so many more Q moments. But as for casting him on this season, it's a great pick. Makes a ton of sense. I'm going to move on. Our final 46 rep is going to the runner-up of the season in Charlie. Charlie is not a surprising pick at all. He was the On Fire co-host, a runner-up of a super popular season, and also the you should have won guy of recent memory. There's not been so much anger from casual fans about a season result since, ironically enough, Aubrey losing to Michelle and Co. Wrong. It really did get to that territory. So yeah, I think all of those factors makes Charlie an easy returning pick. And while I'm definitely interested to see Charlie return from a legacy standpoint, because I think if he does really well in this season, he can rise up in those all-time rankings. But I just wasn't really craving it that much. I don't think he's a super interesting character on his own, and I feel like his trajectory on this season is pretty predictable. He's either going to go out super early because he's a big target, or he'll find a group and he's going to be around for a long time while bringing decent strategic content and nothing really notable I want to watch. He kind of had to be on this season if you were going to bring a decent amount of New Era people, but that doesn't mean I like the pick at the end of the day. Our low to season 47 rep is somebody I had on my Dreamcast. It's Genevieve. I am both happy and surprised to see that Genevieve made it onto 50. Obviously, I'm thrilled from a rooting interest. She's just super relatable, was a fun underdog to watch in the post-merge of 47, and she still has a story to tell and a ton of content to give on a new season. At the same time, I really didn't think she was going to make the cut. There were so many names in the Survivor lexicon that it felt like Genevieve would kind of be one of the cuts that the entire online community just mourns about, saying Genevieve was robbed, she should have been on 50, blah, 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 blah. But no, Survivor production saw what most of us do, and that Genevieve is a worthy and big enough name to fit on a season like Survivor 50 without standing out in a weird way like someone like Tiffany does. It's really funny though, because if you asked me after the first 3 episodes of 47, of everybody on that season, the one person that would be on 50 being Genevieve, oh, I would have called you insane. But of course, we all know how everything turned around for her after that, and I'm very, very happy to see Genevieve on. Easily somebody I will be rooting for to win it all. Now we have the 348 people we have, and in general, it's not surprising to have 348 reps considering how much Jeff and production apparently love this season, but it's really disappointing to see 3 people from a season that was almost universally hated by both casuals and superfans. Starting off with though, we do have our fallen angel that would have won if she made it out of fire in Camila. I'm honestly shocked Camila found her way on 50. She felt like somebody the Survivor community would love at the moment and then appreciate even more as time went on, but somebody Survivor production just wouldn't bring back for her chance to actually try and win the game. But no, I was wrong. Production loved this Kyle-Camila duo so much that Camila is instantly back for another shot. So of the 348 picks, this is the one I'm most surprised about, but also the one that I'm happiest about. It's just a really fun casting choice. Camila's a fun character, fun confessionalist, and I think she has a decent strategic mind, so this was good for me. Next is a more obvious pick, especially after he lost the season. It's Joe. Like, duh. Joe is always going to be here on the cast. He's a casual fan favorite. Jeff loves him. And he's just an archetype Survivor would bring back. I'm obviously not as keen on seeing Joe back on 50. Not because of anything he did, honestly. It's just kind of the stigma of 48 that gets me. And having Joe back brings back the possibility for another 3 months of people screaming honor and integrity at me again, with Joe at the helm of it all. Plus, he's probably going to do well, so like, no, I don't need to see 2 deep Joe runs in 2 seasons that are very close together. Honestly though, maybe I'm trying to find the good things about this, but based on exit press, Joe at the very least seems to be self-aware on how he played and why he didn't win the game. And at the very least, I appreciate that he understands that, which hopefully means we can get a more fun version of Joe on 50. Joe's just a good guy, and the pick makes sense. I definitely have many other people on this cast that I am more upset with being on this season than Joe. I'm just not happy with Joe either. I just gotta accept that he was always gonna be on this cast, especially when he didn't win the season. And the final 48 person, it's the winner, Kyle. He's back. And Kyle, like Joe, does make sense. They love this season. They love the duo of him and Camila. And he's the most recent winner the audience will see. And he got a lot of positive reactions to him winning. The pick will resonate super well with people when they see this cast. And I'm not shocked that Kyle wants to return very soon. I just kind of don't know why he feels that way. Maybe this is a situation where you never know if you're going to get another chance to play and you just got to take that opportunity when you can. I just don't see the point. You just won Survivor 48, a season that people somewhat tolerate only because of you winning. Coming back only opens up the possibility to taint your legacy and leave people feeling a lot worse about you. I would feel totally fine if Kyle never came back for a while and was looked at pretty positively as the years go on. But instead, he's instantly back and is probably not going to do as well or be entertaining. And then all of a sudden, we come out of 50 and the entire perspective on Kyle shifts just like that. It doesn't feel worth it to me. But what do I know? I haven't played or won Survivor, obviously. So I guess we should trust Kyle and his judgment a lot more than mine. But I just don't need it. And again, like the D thing, him being a winner on top of it all just doesn't feel right for this season. I was really just hoping we had no winners and a lot of people that haven't had the opportunity to come back yet. Or at the very least, if we did have winners, just make them pre-New Era winners who weren't back for Winners at War, so we can at least see these people we haven't seen in a long time. But no, we don't get either. We get Kyle, I guess. And the final people on this big-ass cast are the 2 mystery 49 players. And people are going to complain about having people from Season 49 on Season 50, despite us not seeing Season 49 yet. But I feel like this was kind of obvious. I feel like at least one person from 49 was going to be on this cast, and it doesn't surprise me that we have 2. For pretty much every single returning player season, they have done this. They've brought somebody back from the most recent season. A more recent viewer is going to more likely watch Season 50 if they see somebody that they just saw back on Season 50. It just makes sense. It's happened with Russell. It's happened with Malcolm. It happened with Amanda and James. It happened with Rupert. Like, it happened on Game Changers with Michaela and Zeke. This was just bound to happen. Obviously, I more likely than not am going to want people I actually know on this big season 50 cast, but I'm not surprised or upset that this happened at the same time. Also, it's heavily rumored that these two people are Rizzo and Savannah. Obviously, it's going to be one guy, one girl. That's just how it works with the gender breakdown. And I kind of trust these trusted sources that says it's Rizzo and Savannah, so it's probably Rizzo and Savannah, which means when we go to season 49, we need to pay attention to both Rizzo and Savannah because it's very likely that they are going to do very well in the season or at least be super memorable. And I'm going to be honest, it won't shock me if one of them is the winner of the season. Considering I think it's going to be 3 tribes of 8, we have 2 winners already. It kind of makes sense to have 3 winners and then have 1 on each tribe. And so, yeah, that's definitely going to be a thing. And I'm very curious to see how it goes. But I just can't give you a full opinion on these 49 people until we actually see the season and actually see how these two people play as strategists and as characters. And that is the cast of 24 people on the season. I don't really have a lot to talk about at the end of this year. I am intrigued to excited for this, which is better than I think most people can say about it. And kind of shocking for myself. I feel like as somebody who is kind of infamously known for talking negative on a lot of things just because I'm very critical of things that I like, I'm not that critical of this cast. At least not as critical as everyone else is. All I can do is be optimistic and hope we get a pretty fun season of Survivor 50. Seeing all these people back again, it's going to be really surreal, I promise you. Seeing Colby and Q interact, at least hopefully interact, is going to make my year, I promise you. So shout out 2026, that's going to be a fun time. Until then, I got a couple more Survivor videos coming out that are going to be around the idea of returning player seasons. So expect a couple of videos if you want to learn some history about Survivor there. Big Brother season is going to be coming up. So after all this is done, I'm going to be saying goodbye to Survivor and hello to Big Brother. So you'll see a lot of Big Brother videos on this channel. Australia vs. the World is coming up. I'm not going to forget about Total Drama. I'm getting through my Redonkulous race review. And that's about all I got here. So if you made it to the end of this video, I love you. Platonically, of course. And I will undoubtedly see ya when I see ya. Bye-bye.